sister's fiancé stood up at their rehearsal dinner, cleared his throat, and said I'd tried to seduce him 5 years ago, and I watched my entire family turn against me in real time. Let me back up. 5 years ago, before Claire and Derek were even officially dating, he showed up drunk at my apartment at midnight. We'd all been at a group hangout earlier, and I'd assumed he went home. Instead, he knocked on my door, slurring about how he'd always felt something between us, how I was the one he really wanted. He tried to kiss me. I pushed him away, told him he was drunk and confused, and sent him home in an Uber. The next morning, he called Claire and asked her to be his girlfriend. 2 months later, they were inseparable. I convinced myself that night had been a drunken mistake he didn't remember, and I never mentioned it because what good would it do? He clearly loved Claire. They were happy. Why destroy that over one weird, uncomfortable moment? But I should have known it would come back to haunt me. At the rehearsal dinner, surrounded by 70 guests, Derek gave a speech about their love story. He talked about overcoming obstacles, about dealing with jealousy from unexpected places, and then he looked directly at me. Some people in this room didn't think we should be together. Some people even tried to come between us. My stomach dropped. Claire looked confused. Her friends started whispering. Derek continued, voice steady and sincere. 5 years ago, someone very close to Claire showed up at my place late at night, told me she had feelings for me, tried to kiss me. I said no because I knew who I loved. I never told Claire because I didn't want to hurt her relationship with her sister. The room went silent. Every eye turned to me. Claire's face drained of color. That's not what happened, I said, my voice shaking. Derek, that's not... You came to my apartment. You were drunk. You tried to kiss me. He shook his head, looking wounded. I know this is hard to admit, but lying about it now isn't going to change anything. I've forgiven you. Claire's forgiven you. We just want to move forward. Claire stood up, tears streaming down her face. You told me you forgave her? When did I... Derek, what is she talking about? He reached for her hand. Baby, I told you about this months ago, remember? When we were planning the wedding and you asked if there was anything I needed to tell you before we got married? I watched him gaslight her in real time, rewriting history with such confidence that she started second-guessing her own memory. I thought you were talking about your ex. No, sweetheart, your sister. I told you she came on to me years ago and I rejected her. You said you'd already talked to her about it and she'd apologized. I never apologized because it never happened, I shouted, but my mom put her hand on my shoulder and whispered, don't make this worse. Like I was the problem. Like I was ruining Claire's special moment. Derek's best man stood up, corroborating the story. Yeah, man, you told me about that years ago, how she showed up drunk trying to start something. Lies, all lies, but they sounded so coordinated, so believable. I realized this wasn't spontaneous. Derek had been laying groundwork for months, maybe years, preparing for this exact moment. Claire looked at me, mascara running, voice breaking. Did you really do that? I wanted to scream. Instead, I pulled out my phone with shaking hands. Check the Uber receipt. 5 years ago, October 19th, 11:57 p.m. Uber from my address to his address, not the other way around. I'd kept detailed records of everything from that year for tax purposes. The receipt showed exactly what I said, a ride originating from my apartment. Derek's face flickered for just a second. Claire grabbed the phone from my hands, staring at the screen. The wedding was called off 3 days later. Claire found more evidence after actually looking. Texts from that night, security footage from my apartment building showing Derek arriving drunk and alone, even a voicemail he'd left me the next day apologizing for getting too emotional. Derek tried to spin it as a misunderstanding, but the damage was done. Claire moved back with our parents, started therapy, and last week she thanked me for not letting her marry someone who'd gaslight her in front of 70 people. Sometimes the truth takes years to surface, but when it does, it burns everything false to the ground.